So thank you so much, guys, for being on this call, which is just an overview of the NLC, so the New Leaders Conference that I went to in February in LA. And you guys will all be there next year, I'm sure. So it's for 1-star and above coaches. So you would need to lock in or start qualification for your 1-star in the middle of November to qualify by the end of December to go to New Leaders, which will be in Vegas next year, which is going to be incredible. And I've just worked out that by that stage, Guy's account will probably be like 1-star above, so I'll probably get another ticket, which is hilarious. So I'm just looking at my notes and making sure that we are covering off everything. So this was Kelsey Hill, and she was speaking about how she stepped up her leadership game, and she said it was really when she started to get people results, because of course it's obvious, if we start getting people results, then even if they're a boot camper and they get results and they believe in the program, they're going to want to become coaches. And then when they want to become coaches, clearly that's going to build your team. So it starts with getting people results, which should be the lifeblood of our business. It should be really obvious, but I think sometimes it's good to reiterate. And certainly something that a lot of these leaders are saying is that they post about the Beachbody challenge in all of their challenge groups at least once a month. So that's certainly Ashley Molstad, who was #1 last year. She shares about the Beachbody challenge and tries to get as many of her girls to enter into that as possible, because even if they don't win, they're like, I think there's £100,000 a year for each category, male, female, within certain age groups. There's also like, I think £1,000, $1,000 up for grabs each month. I'd need to look at the details, but it's quite amazing. But every single person who enters their results for any program they've done start to finish gets a t-shirt for the program that they've completed, which is pretty cool. And if you've got people who are boot campers who like love the Beachbody thing, you know, having a t-shirt for the program you've just completed is pretty cool. And obviously that is just a little extra sweetener for those people that perhaps really struggle with that motivation and accountability, to know that they're going to get that and that actually they're staying accountable to it because they need to submit their results. So don't underestimate how much that could really shift your business. And so Kelsey Hill was talking about what changed her business. So she went to New Leaders last year and she finished as a 12-star diamond. She went in as a 2-star at the beginning of this year and finished as a 12-star diamond. And she listened or read the book, The 10X Rule, which is by Grant Cardone. You guys have probably all heard of it. Some of you guys have probably listened to it, but that was certainly the book that she said changed everything for her. And it really called herself out on what she actually wasn't doing with her time and the time that she did have available. And so the 10X rule is, you know, it's pretty obvious in the title. You just kind of 10 timesing everything, right? The Success Club system, that was something that she basically came out of an NLC and said, this is going to be what my team is going to do. They're going to hit Success Club, because unless my team hits Success Club, they are not building a sustainable long-term business. And so obviously leading from the front, you guys will have heard that if you've got coaches in your downline who aren't doing anything, the reason why they're not doing anything probably is because they're doing half what you're doing. And that is absolutely 100% true. If I look at my Success Club numbers and I look at what my coaches do and I look at the months where I'm smashing it and the months when I'm not doing so well, my coaches are always doing, for the most part, half what I'm doing. Okay, so the responsibility of being a coach, building a team, means that it starts with you. Okay, I hate to say it, but if we don't do that stuff, our teams are never going to do that stuff. So it's super important to call ourselves out on that. And obviously, you know, as we build and we grow, like some of you guys are still relatively new into the business. Remember that this business takes time. The training takes time to learn. But if you recognize, or perhaps you've got a niggling feeling that there's something in your armory that you're not very good at yet, please promise me that as a business owner, you are going to go and find that resource to make yourself solid in that area that you know you're weak at, because that, as a self-employed business owner, will make or break your success. And if you constantly ignore something that you know is a weak spot, I'm afraid it's never going to change. Just reading my notes. She mentioned this book and I haven't got it yet, but it sounded amazing. Permission to Screw Up by Kristen Hadland. So that was a book that she said when she started going next level with her business, she was really specific and intentional about the personal development that she was listening to. And that was very much about leadership. And again, like, you know, as new leaders, we've not done this before, right? So we can't be expected to do all of this without having resource or without giving ourselves additional training so that we then have the confidence to build that team. And I think that's really important. Sometimes we don't build a team because we don't feel confident that actually when we get there, we can do it. Okay. And so it's going to be really important that we again take responsibility for those resources that we know are going to help us. And she said, you have to step up. You have to step up. You have to be willing to put yourself out there, and you have to be willing to learn from your failures. Because if you're going to lead a team and you don't step up and you're not willing to learn from your failures, guess what's going to happen to your team when they come in? They're going to do exactly what you do. Okay. So you have to like constantly innovate. Again, it's like me with my sneak peeks. Like I relied on the same sneak peek for 6 months, and now I'm like, I'm doing a sneak peek a month. I'm going to leave my own. I'm going to do it on my own. It's new, it's scary, it's actually terrifying for me, believe it or not. I'm genuinely scared. I'm sharing that with you guys. But I can't just keep in the same mold all the time, because then we're never going to grow, and then we're never going to learn, and I can never lead by example. Okay. Giving mindset. How can I give back to them? Okay. And that is so important. And that, when I was a newer leader, I'll just share that with you, that was something I didn't even know how to give back, right? I was getting all these new coaches and I didn't even know how to do it. And now I'm really intentional in my business about ensuring that I'm always checking in with my new coaches. I'm making sure that I've got a touch point with my coaches at least once a week, and that my coaches know that I'm always available. If they need to talk to me, I'm always available for them. If they want to get on a call, I'm always available for them. Okay. Because it's no use leading a team and having this expectation of the team if we then don't give anything back to them. Okay. How can I help them grow? You know, again, today, like prime example as a leader, like I was trying to think about, what do I think is the weak spot for us in our business? Where do my team need support? Invites. Okay. We have a lot of new coaches. I get it quite a lot. I get quite a lot of comments about how do I invite? And so then I thought to myself, okay, that's how I'm going to help them, because that is our weak spot right now. So learning to recognize what your team needs and then delivering on that. And Kelsey said, if I get the same question 3 times from a coach, I deliver a training on it. And I love that. I love that. She makes a training video on it. Become more self-reliant. Learn to rely on yourself and quit making excuses and stop doubting yourself. And that's, you know, that's what I covered last week in the main part of the call. If we have doubt about ourselves, we're never going to lead a team. We're just not, because that person looking at us is going to see that we doubt ourselves and they're not going to want to come on board. Create a healthy team culture. Kelsey said when she came out of New Leaders last year, she focused on her team culture. She really wanted them to be proud and thankful for the team that they were part of. And so she really focused on, you know, like, you guys are like at the building stage of your business, right? But it doesn't mean that if you have a few coaches that you couldn't do a little getaway for them. Like, I'm not saying it's a diamond retreat. I did a getaway for some of my coaches in, or you guys, in, what was it, October, November. And that wasn't, you didn't need to have like a stipulation to get there. It was just something that I wanted to do for the team. I wanted to have this ethos, and I wanted us to all meet so that we had that feeling of team when we all work remotely. So think about who you do have in your team and what you can do to kind of harness that. I know Donna, you know, even before she was Diamond, she was leading her own little calls, and she was taking that upon herself as a leader in her own right. And that really showed to me that she was ready for that next level of leadership, because she was doing that before she was even a Diamond. So think about what your team might really like and what's going to help you with your confidence, right? If you lead little calls for them, what's that going to do for you? Cultivate relationships that are meaningful. And that's so important. I think, you know, as you grow and you build, you're going to have different personalities. And that, for me as a leader, was something that I'm not actually used to, because I worked in the property industry where I was in sales, and we're all really similar character types, and we're all bubbly and outgoing, and we're all go all the time. And then you lead a team and you have a team like this, we've got different personality types. And actually I've loved it, because it's given me the opportunity to learn about, okay, I'll lead this person like this, but this person's not going to like being led like that. And so this person needs that from me. So really think about that. That is your responsibility. If you want to get the best out of your team, you need to make it about them. And yeah, like, you're not going to be a pro tomorrow, and certainly none of us are, but just being really like empathetic, understand what they need, understand how they feel, try and put yourself in their shoes. You know, the way I construct a new coach call, for example, is really different dependent on who I've got on the call. So I always try and sort of sound my new coach out as soon as I'm on the phone. Okay, tell me, what do you want from this business? How are you feeling? I'm asking questions because I want to understand how they feel. If they feel completely terrified and they're overwhelmed, I'm not going to say to them, you need to go at Emerald this week. Okay, so learn to recognize that they're not all going to be runners, and that different people are going to need to be sort of handheld or not handheld in different ways. Okay, and then direct them down the path dependent on what kind of person they are. I love what Louise just put there. Okay. And the team has to mean something. And I think this is so important. And I think in the beginning, when you're trying to like find out like, what even is my team? Like, what is the ethos? And that can be really hard to figure out. But certainly for me, as I've built, I know what our team is about, right? And I find that really exciting because I know the ethos is really special. And I know it's really special because I get that feedback from my coaches. And that's something that I'm working hard to harness. You know, Summit, for example, that's going to be a big deal for me and my team because I want that ethos to be really evident to everybody in the team that comes, that it is like a really inclusive, special place where we get on, but we have a good laugh. You know, that for me is like, we get on, we have a good laugh is probably like what I'd love to think our team was. Okay, whether or not you're someone that's building a massive team or whether or not actually that's not your jam. I want people to feel like they're a part of that. Okay. And this was something that Kelsey said. She said, your success will be determined by your efforts, your diligence, and your skill. Okay? Efforts, diligence, and skill. And I love that because it's so true, isn't it? Right? You think you put in lots of effort, but you're not diligent about it. It's a waste of time. You put in lots of effort and you've got lots of skill, but you're not diligent about it. It's not going to work. Or you put in lots of effort and you're really diligent, but you've got no skill. It's not going to work. Okay, so really think about that for your team, but also yourself. As I said earlier, like if there's a skill set place that you're missing, call yourself out on that now, or even get your coach to like ask your coach, what do you think is my weak spot? Where do you think I need work if you really can't work that out? Leveling up your leadership. And this is, I spoke to SJ about this on a call the other day, and she was like, I really feel, Lizzie, like I need to fake it till I make it. And I said, I'm a strong believer of that. I'm a strong believer of, you've kind of got to, it's like when you share your vision in your posts before you really feel that it's real, right? Because your people are catching the vision. They're catching the vision before it's happened. And if you push yourself before you feel you're ready, that is where you are going to become a phenomenal leader. Because if you don't push yourself because you don't feel you're ready, you're never going to be a phenomenal leader. And that's something that Kelsey said, and I thought that was so true. Louise, you have to use your imagination to step into what you want to become. And I love that. It's so true. And I think about when Claire and I were really going for it, 15 months ago, that's exactly what we did. We weren't ready. We were terrified, but we were like, do you know what? We are going to be that person, and we are going to act like that person, and we are going to almost fake ourselves into believing that it's true. And that's exactly what happened. And our business exploded because we were like, do you know what? I don't feel ready, but the world doesn't need to know. And if I tell myself all the time, I'm not ready, I'm never going to be ready, because that's what I'm telling myself. Visualize. Yeah, absolutely. Stay in phase one. This was something that Janine covered in Run Wild, Hustle and Shine, but this is something that she covered, and I'll cover this briefly. I think the biggest mistake we can make as we become new leaders and as we start to get coaches on our team, we're like, oh, I've got all my coaches now, so I can sit easy and I'll sit on my little nest and I'll just take care of them. Okay, in network marketing, in this business, if we sit on our nest, unfortunately, that's the whole thing's going to fall to bits, because you're not leading from the front. You're not showing your team how to set the precedent. And then you're inevitably going to have people that it's not going to be for. That happens. So you always want to be in phase one. You always want to be going at the same pace, inviting, following up, and adding to your contact list. Inviting, following up, and adding to your contact list, day in, day out. Enroll clients and coaches. Yeah, I hope that's really obvious. And consistent in your social media, which is what I covered. And then this was really interesting. So if you have got a few coaches, I think this is a really good task. Put your page into 3 columns and put loyalists, talkers, and runners. Okay. And you should be able to work out from who you know and what you've seen from them, who's loyal, because maybe they love the community and they love the programs and they're part of the team because of that, which is probably about 70% of people are that. Yeah. And that's great, because that's just building your income month to month, because they're loyal and they want to be part of the community, and that's amazing. But they're not going to be the people that you're going to spend lots of time with. They're not going to be the people that you're going to spend lots of time with. The talkers, okay, they're the people who are like, yeah, I'm going to hit Success Club 10 tomorrow, and they say it every month and it never happens. They're talking the talk, but they're not walking the walk. Okay, so write down their names. And then the runners. So she says you want to run with the runners. Okay, the runners are the ones that come into the business. Perhaps they don't start off quickly, but at some point they start to run and they catch the vision. Then you want to run with the runners. And what that means is you want to match their effort and intensity. You want to be in a pod with them. And this was something that Sammy Glonek spoke a lot about. And Sammy Glonek, I think, is number 5 in the network now. And she was talking about how she started creating these threads, these pods, which you guys will see me creating pods for different times and different people, to really harness that potential within that group. So you might suddenly have some runners and you might want to put them together and move towards completing a task together. Are you going to hit, we're all going to hit Success Club 10 this month. We're all going to get 4 coaches this month. That kind of thing. Those pods are really effective. With the runners, you're going to give them exclusive one-on-one time. And she said, as you build, you're not going to give anybody else exclusive one-on-one time. And those calls should be 2 times a month for about 30 minutes. And certainly that's what I do. And you're going to guide them to reach their goals. And this is something that I've learned, right? And this is kind of ahead of some of where some of you guys are, but I think it's important to know. If we start, and this can be the thing as like a new leader, we're like, okay, you need to hit this by that, then that's your goal, not theirs. And they're not going to be accountable to it. So you're going to guide them to reach their goals. So they're going to share their goals with you, and then you're going to help guide them through how they're going to get there. Okay. Because if you say you need to hit this by then, what's going to happen? They're just going to say, that's not for me. Lisa, all my life I'm a talker. That has to be changed. I don't know. You've done some pretty good things for your business, Lisa. Form for feedback of social. Yes, feedback on their social media. And this is something I'll hasten to add that I haven't been great at with my team. Feedback on their social media. So doing an audit on their social media before their call or in their call, checking that they're positioning themselves right for the time and the season of their business. So if someone's doing a heavy call to action on coaching, are their posts all about coaching, or are they just sharing their workouts? Yeah, really important. Do they look like that person that's going after that vision, or are they somebody else who says they're going for that vision and then they haven't shown up in their social media? Really important. This was something that Sammy Glonek talked about, and I'm not going to keep you on this call for ages because I know you've taken on a lot already from the invites, and what I don't want to do is give you this like really amazing information and then find that you can't take it all in. Smart systems as you build, and I know like this is something that actually I'm going to do a call about, but emailing, having an email list. Again, if you do promoted posts and things like that, you're likely to have an email list because you'll have got everybody's emails. But doing newsletters and things like that, and really taking it upon yourself to do that now, so that you have got that template. And this is what Sammy Glonek said. She said, initially it took me time. She did a template for a newsletter, and every week she was sending out a newsletter with like recipes. And this is what also Ashley Fidelson shared in the champions page about her challenge group. She sends a weekly newsletter, which is just giving people an indication of like, here's a recipe, here's a shake recipe, like this is what's coming up for your existing customers, but also having a newsletter for those people who might be interested, that telling them again about what's coming up. It might look the same, but really starting to be that leader, so that you've got these systems where you can then just edit the newsletter each week and you can send that out to all of your contacts. This is something that I was like, oh, I definitely haven't done this for my guys, but they said, have a running list of notes for every single program that each one of your coaches and customers has followed, so that you know where they are and you know how to help them, which I loved, and I certainly haven't done, but I thought that was really, really good, because that's how you get loyalty. That's how people are going to stay in your business. Yeah. This was something that Sammy Gonek did, and I didn't even know this existed, so I'm just going to share. Download all the emails from Beachbody and create a workflow. There's emails that there are templates in Beachbody in the back office that I didn't even know about. So yeah, that could be something. It's something that I haven't even got to yet, guys, but I thought that was like, wow, I didn't even know that was in there. You know, like when we do our challenge groups, I didn't know there's a challenge group guide for ages. So that's where I'm going to leave off now. I'll probably do another call on this for you guys next week, because I think I've given you guys enough information for now to be getting on with. And we covered duplication on a call. But I hope that's useful for now. Like, I don't want to overload you. Has anybody got any questions? Oh, that's my pleasure. That I'll do more. What I don't want to do is go on for over an hour and then find you guys can't take it all in. I think it's better to do it in like bite sizes. Was there anything else you wanted to ask? No? Okay, well, I hope it's been useful. And thank you for listening to me for like an hour. I don't think we'll do another boomerang because I've got one of everyone. So thank you for listening to me. It's my pleasure. And you guys pushing for diamond for the end of March, you got to come on that retreat in the middle of April. I'm booking it at the end of this month, so I really need to have a rough indication of how many people we have. It's game on. It's my pleasure, everybody. It's nice to see you. Take care. See you soon. Bye.